What's up, guys, and welcome to Planet Zoo, the Koalapalala edition. This is episode 2 of Koalapalala. And what we're doing here is, as you can see, I've gone through and I've deleted all the pathing because it just wasn't working out the way I wanted it to. And I decided, you know what, let's go back to the basics, go back to what I was preaching before, and build our building that we're going to base the pathing on. So here I'm just putting on the roof, and I was having second thoughts about this roof, and you'll see I delete quite a bit while we're going through here. And I'm just adding some wood trim or some roof trim right now. And just taking a second look, and now I'm putting on more trim. And it's very important to do this. Like I said before in my other videos, it really makes your building stand out when you put on those little bit of extra details like trim you put on those eaves, just so what little rainfall we would get here would just roll right off. And so now I'm looking inside, and I'm like, okay, well, what am I gonna do? I'm trying to figure out a plan for the paths, because I have no clue what I'm doing at this point in time. Which, I mean, that's fine and all. And I'm trying to figure out, well, I want to put in some vending machines. So I decided to go with a cosmic cow that later changes to a gulpy. But you know, I'm messing around, and I want to make the vending machine area look decent, so I found these nice lovely little planks, and I decided to use those. And so I got that top on, and I was like, huh, maybe I should tier it. That would look kind of neat. So that's what I did. I used those tiers. I do have those bathrooms in, and those bathrooms become the bane of my existence, guys. You don't even know. There was just so many things that happened, and I couldn't figure out why it was happening. And you'll see the messages pop up. They'll go away pretty quickly. But what happened was nothing was accessible. Nothing that I put in was accessible, and I couldn't understand why. Well, it turns out the barrier that I put in, the guest gate, was not attached properly, and the guests could not come into the park or come into the habitat, which meant that everything was inaccessible. And I didn't realize that until later, after I stopped recording. And I was over it, guys. I'll just put it that way. I was over it. But anyways, so I get the cosmic cow in, and then I put in a street fox, because, you know, why not have coffee while you're looking at koalas? And here I'm looking for signage, and I really like the Street Fox coffee sign because you can fit it just about anywhere, the small one anyways. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll do the same thing with Cosmic Cow. Well, the small sign for Cosmic Cow is not small, it's huge. So I just said, screw it, I'm not doing Cosmic Cow. So now I'm looking at Just a Memento and My Hat's Fantastic stores, and I'm trying to figure out a way to spruce those up a little bit. And at first I was going to use that, and I decided, no, I'm not going to do that. And then I came to this little facade type thing, and I was like, yeah, I'll use those. I'll just change the colors to match the store colors, which I think worked out pretty well. I messed around with putting a little umbrella thing over it. I forgot what they're called. and decided against it because we are inside. There's no need for that. So I just repeat the process on the other side, changing the colors to resemble Hat's Fantastic a little bit better. And yeah, I was kind of struggling with it, as you can see. Just could not find the right colors, but I made it work out. So a lot of this I'm just looking around, and as you can see, I cut it there. I made I got this the lettering off the Steam Workshop, and I forgot who did it. I'll mention them in another video, but I really like the way it came out, even though I struggled with it. Again, I wasn't very efficient, especially when it comes to coloring it. I should have colored the letters beforehand, and I didn't, and I spent a lot of time coloring those letters into the color that I wanted. But either way, I am going to add a little blurb inside the park thanking whoever created those lettering, just to give them props, because they're the ones who put in the effort. They should get credit for it. That's how I look at it anyways. And so here I'm just adding some decorations to the front of the building, even though after I put in some trees and whatnot for the habitat, you can't really see them very well, but whatever. It still looks good, the finished product, and you'll see that not in this video, but probably in the next one. There's still a lot of little things that I want to do, but for essentially working on this Monday, today, that I'm recording this, and Sunday, yesterday, I think I did pretty good. Throughout the week I am going to do some small little touch-ups and really get this thing looking good. So here, excuse me. Here you can see I'm really struggling with the coloring aspect, and I'm leaving this in the video because had I done this when I had all this stuff separated out, being put into order, it would have been so much easier, so much easier. And I screwed up by not doing that. As you can see, I miss a lot of pieces as I'm trying to get them all, and this was just a massive waste of time, guys. So learn from my mistake, and if you're going to download something from the Steam Workshop, before you put it into the actual habitat where you want it, make sure you have it the right color. In my defense, I didn't know what color I wanted to do it. I was going to do like multiple colors, but I really like this pale blue. It pops out from that wood Australian sign that Frontier gave us, and it kind of matches, you know, some of the, it's not an exact match, but it matches the fur color of some of the koalas. It's just bluer than what we'd normally see, but it comes out, it matches, it goes well, is what I'm trying to say, with the rest of the building. And it's not an overpowering color, which is what I wanted to avoid. You know, I wanted to avoid the reds, I wanted to avoid yellows and oranges. I really just wanted something that was nice and soothing to look at, and blue is a soothing color, even though you will never see a house blue, or if you do, it probably won't sell very well. But yeah, I'm almost done with it. I kind of got the hang of getting everything at this point in time, but this L was a struggle for me. And that's just It's my screw up, guys. I gotta be honest. Got nobody to blame but myself. It's not easy to admit, but yeah, I was stupid, and it bit me in the butt time-wise. Time that I could have spent doing something else with this habitat, with this build. But you know, it worked out in a way that I like. So we're almost done with the coloring portion, and I forgot what I went on to after that. I think I ended up changing the roof some. Oh, that's right. This portion of the egg gave me a hard time too, because I just could not get that piece. And I'm losing my mind at that point, and I finally got it, and I'm like, alright, cool. And I actually think I ended up taking a break after I finished this sign, but as you can see here, I went, alright, well, let's get a nice background for this sign. So I ended up picking a brown to go behind that blue, which really makes the blue pop out more. And I thought to myself, well, it needs something else. So I ended up putting a dark red behind the brown. Just kind of a little border, so it's very much a three-dimensional sign. We got the red background, we got the brown on top of the red background, and then we have the blue lettering. And it works out really well. If you saw my Cripple Creek build for Planet Zoo, you'll recognize that I did something very similar on the Wrangler roller coaster that I did. Very much, almost exactly the same thing. The lettering is different and the colors are a little bit different, but it works out really well. I like how it came out. Alright, so I took a little break and I came back and I decided, okay, what I really need to do is I need to get the borders of the habitat done. So what I did is I built that gate there, and that was that was the cause of my headache. I I can't even talk about what happened without getting mad. So it was frustrating. I'll just leave it at that. But koalas can't climb, or they can climb, but they can't climb up steep things like rocks, which doesn't make any sense. They can climb up trees, why couldn't they climb a rock? I don't know. But whatever, so I put those rocks there just to make sure they can't escape out of that area. And I tried to come up with something that'll look decent for that area, and I'm gonna end up repeating that throughout the habitat where the water is. I'm gonna get the moss, I'm gonna get the other rocks and whatnot, but what I did was I put a null barrier out in the water, or I'm going to. I think I already did. And what I later come to find out is that koalas can swim. So I had to change that null barrier into a climb-proof wooden barrier, which is what I did. And I did it wood because I didn't like the other low-grade barriers, like the hedge. The hedge just would not look good. So I went with wood. It looks like it should be there. And here I'm just getting my my exhibits ready, getting the habitats good to go. And these guys wouldn't leave. I fired them, but they wouldn't leave because of that stupid frickin' guest gate. And it didn't dawn on me that the guest gate was the problem. It should have. I should have recognized it immediately, but I didn't. So I'm looking back and I'm like, okay, maybe it is the guest gate. So I'm trying to move the guest gate around because I'm like, oh, it's got to be the guest gate. It has to be. And so I move it around and I'm like, okay, well, it should be good. The path is connected, and turns out it was not connected. So, it is what it is. Here I am, I'm moving the koalas into quarantine, getting them ready to move into the habitat. And basically, at this point, I'm just waiting for that to happen. And here I noticed, oh crap, I've got a null barrier there where the koalas can escape and ring off bells, so I put the rock work in there to keep that from happening. And it works out quite well. So there it goes, our little friends, our koalas are just all over the place, they're so cute. And here, what you just saw was those notifications saying that the guests can't get into the restrooms. So I'm like, well, what's going on? I fixed the staff gate, didn't I? Well, I did, but I didn't. So I'm just, at this point, it was, I was trying so hard just to get this to work, and it wouldn't. Same thing with just Memento and Has Fantastic. I'm like, why aren't the guests getting here? What's the issue? I just could not comprehend why this was happening. So, if you guys are running into something familiar or something similar to this, check your guest gate. Make sure that the path is connected. You'll save a whole lot of problems. Again, that's the reason why I'm keeping this in the video. This is a lessons learned video more than anything. Because I spent hours, well, I shouldn't say hours, I probably spent maybe an hour and a half really screwing with it, trying to figure it out, and I eventually gave up on it. I was like, forget it, I just won't put any of that stuff in this building. I'll worry about it later, was kind of my thought process. So I looked at the koalas, I looked at what they wanted. They like a lot of short grass, they like some tall grass, some rock, some soil. No big deal. And at this point in time, I believe I still have the null barriers out in the water because I thought koalas can't swim. And you'll see I end up changing that later. Here I am adding the little splotches of long grass near the water. Because I figured that's where the grass will grow the tallest, is where there's an ample water source soaking up into the ground. And then I went through and I decided to put soil along the fencing, or along the barrier I should say. And so now I'm looking at trees, the garden work, and I put a lot of trees in here, and I realized after I put the pathing on the outside where the guests can walk through the habitat that I need a lot more foliage. A lot more foliage. I've got so many bare spots, even though it doesn't look like it at first. It's just one of those weird things. I didn't realize how much land mass I had put in here. This habitat, guys, for koalas is over 8,000 square meters. So I've got, I think right now I have 30 koalas in this space, and I still think that I need more koalas. But so yeah, I've got a lot more of these little detail work things to do in this build inside the habitat because I don't like it where I left off. And you guys aren't going to see where I left off. I actually cut the video, and because I was getting frustrated, I went and had dinner, had a smoke, came back to it, and basically just forgot to hit record. But it really wasn't much to see anyways, if I'm going to be completely honest. And so I'm juggling right now with getting koalas into quarantine and then getting them into the habitat. it was a time management thing, and I didn't do a very good job on that because we don't normally put that many animals into a habitat. So yeah, it is what it is. And all this is, guys, is I'm just going through, I'm putting in a whole bunch of trees because koalas need a lot of climbable things. And they love the tamarind trees. I learned that by watching them. They love to climb those tamarind trees. And I end up putting in some climbable structures. I'm going to end up putting in more. I'm going to custom make some because of the blueprints that we have available to us. They're okay, but they're not great. At least not for what I'm trying to do. So that's something I'm definitely going to do that off camera because I have a feeling that would be really, really boring. The wind chimes, I didn't know koalas like wind chimes in the mirrors, but apparently they do, so I added those. And here I'm just using the blueprint stuff that Frontier gave us because I didn't want to waste a whole lot of time building climbable things, and I'm gonna have to do it anyways. Which, I mean, it's fine. It's one of those things that, here we go, this is where I noticed that koalas can swim. Oh, that was, I'm just like, really? Koalas can swim? It never crossed my mind that they would be able to swim. But sure enough, they can, so I end up going through replacing all the barriers with the wooden stuff, like I said, adjusting the heights because they don't need to be very high. Koalas can jump, but not very high, or far for that matter. So what I do is I fix that on one side, and then I just put climb proof on both sides. Just because, I mean, we're out here in the wild, I don't want some other critter climbing over. Even though with as low as that fence is, I can just jump over. But, whatever. And then here I'm just deleting all the null barriers that I had put in. And that was a bummer, guys. I'll be honest, that was a huge bummer because I really wanted it to be open. I didn't want all of the barriers to be so visible. And then I see there, okay, yeah, they can crawl over those rocks, so I'll just make some bigger rocks, and they won't get through that. So that's ended up good. I didn't even bother checking it because I knew it would be good. And again, putting more koalas into quarantine, bringing them out, and just waiting. My God, there's so many koalas. And I decided I have a bunch of males as well, so I ended up going with just getting a whole bunch of females because I do want to get some baby koalas in here as well. And so I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm like, okay, well, the exhibits look good. I just need to put the 3D backgrounds into them, which I end up doing later. I don't think I did it on camera. But my employees are definitely earning their keep right now. I will say that. They are earning their keep. And at this point I was like, you know, I've got the time rolling because I need to get the animals into quarantine and out of quarantine. I need to get them cycled through quick. And then I saw these guys start climbing. I'm like, aww. And then I ended up taking a little screenshot right here. Just because why not, you know? It's a nice screenshot. And it was a lot of, at this point, kind of wondering, alright, well, I need to put enrichment items in. So I put the little scent things all over the place. The wind chimes and the mirrors I put in different places. And then I found these eucalyptus feeder trees, and I managed to get 2 of them on the inside of the building, which I really liked. Added in some climbing structures, and I did do a little bit of customizing with this because I wanted the koalas to go over the people. And it just ends in that little platform. Supported the platform like you should. Because, I mean, the koalas, they're just going to climb up those poles anyways. Make sure that they have plenty of water. So I've got water stations. Quite a few of them, actually. And then I decided I'll put in the feeding platforms. I got a few of those. I didn't put a whole lot of those in, just because there's a lot of those eucalyptus feeders, and they will always go to the enrichment feeders before they go to the regular feeders. And here, you know, I was just checking the size of the habitat, and I changed the food quality to the best food quality because they're koalas. They should get the best. And then right around in here, you know, I was like, okay, well, the next thing I got to do is I got to put in the pathway to do what I'm calling the walkabout. And I plan on naming one side Irwin's Walkabout and the other side Bindy's Walkabout, in honor of his daughter and of him. Oh, I did put in some of this. I completely forgot that I put in some of this. Oh, I don't think I put in the raised pathing. When I say put in, I mean recording. But yeah, I really like this idea of having these guests just go through and see where the koalas live in as much of a natural habitat as possible. But you know, guys, in the next video we're going to be doing a whole lot more. There's going to be some changes. I'll walk you guys through those in the next video. And really, the next video will be kind of like a detailing video, and the video after that will be a quick little like fly through. But I see I'm almost out of time, so as always, be safe, be cool, have fun, and we'll catch you next time.